charitable causes and the planet. And I will let you guys take it away. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hey everyone, raise your hand if you worked on a project and empower change through NFTs. Anyone? Okay, we can wrap up the panel now. Okay, today we will talk about empowering change through NFTs. And we have an amazing group of panelists to talk about it. And we will start with the short introductions about their background. We'll start with Ron, then Mark, then Barney, and then Zoe.
Hello everyone, Ron Rivers. Nice to meet all of you. I'm the author of a book titled Self-actualization in the Age of Crisis, a co-founding member of SpiritDAO, and I'll be publishing a new white paper on the intersection of Web3, AI, and philanthropy in a couple weeks. So excited to talk to you today.
Hey there everybody, my name's Mark Tulloch and I'm a retired New Zealand Army officer. In 2021, I launched the world's first military and first responder NFT community, and we've been growing that for a few years now.
I'm Bonnie Brooks, and I have been an artist for over 40 years, and I'm an NFT artist and traditional artist. I've owned my own gallery, and I support community by trying to teach others about NFTs and community and how to give back.
I am Zoe Nawar. I work in Web3 partnerships at a company called The Giving Block, where we help nonprofits accept crypto donations.
And I'm Yuliia. Besides being your moderator today, I'm a Chief of Staff and a startup operator at the Falcon Foundation, a founding member of a Web3 Chief of Staff community, and a co-founder of Ukraine Art Co project that you will hear more about it later today. And let's dive into our panel. We want to start a panel with discussing case studies. Can you share a success story where NFTs contributed to a social impact? And we'll start with Zoe.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have several thousand nonprofits on our platform, all of which have had their own journeys in crypto and Web3. Some members of the audience, I can see Otoya Rossetti out there from Save the Children are here today. But one that I think is particularly fun and relevant for NFTs is one of our first NFT success stories, which was Orangutan Outreach. They ended up being selected by Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm sure a couple of you have heard of them. A small little NFT project that blew up quite a bit and was able to use some of that success and some of the funds from that success to support an orangutan conservation nonprofit. The donation from Orangutan Outreach ended up being over 3 times the entire donation history of that nonprofit. So a single donation was 3 times their entire funds raised since they had started. It was life-changing. They were able to start an entirely new location. The amount of orangutans they were able to support tripled. It was truly what we like to call a game changer donation. And that's just one of many examples in the NFT space of how community fundraisers can come together. Multiple people, not just a single investor, but dozens, hundreds, thousands of people can come together to support a cause that they're passionate about, which is something we haven't really seen in the past.
Mark?
Yeah, a specific example that we've been donating funds out to other charitable organisations. One is Peaceful Pastures, which does equine rescue and veteran work, and then there's another entity that does outdoor recreation. So yeah, really getting out into the, I guess, real world and fixing some real problems.
Thank you for sharing your stories. And I worked on the Ukraine Art Co project. 2 years ago, when the war in Ukraine broke in, a group of volunteers came together to support the people of Ukraine. We had an idea to launch an NFT smart contract platform. We had an artist who donated art, and then we sold that art at NFT Miami and collected proceeds and donated proceeds to a nonprofit called Razum that helps people of Ukraine directly on the ground. As an operator, I was responsible for doing a quick fundraise to kickstart the project, onboarding the team and making sure that our team executes on the product within the timeline. That's just one additional example of how you could use NFTs to contribute to a social cause. And now we want to dive into our next question. what are some of the critiques and challenges that NFT industry and specifically social impact causes will cause in the next couple of years?
So I'll field that one. So first, we can start with kind of the challenges, right? I think if any of us are in this space, we know that there is a certain degeneracy that is more popular than the good is done, right? We hear all the time about people who ape into a meme coin and make or lose six figures. We don't hear a lot about the people who are doing social impact work in this space. So there's that kind of initial perception kind of come over. I think another core challenge is
need to reduce the barrier of entry to onboard a next wave of Web3 users. With the Filecoin now, we're working on the efforts of improving the developers onboarding and working through our Filecoin docs to onboard even more users of using the Filecoin. Now we have over 130 million NFTs stored in Filecoin, and we want to expand even further. Make it easy to use for everyone to onboard and store files on Filecoin. And now we want to dive into our next question, which is what are some of the emerging trends that we see in the NFT industry and the social impact emerges in the next couple of years? Mark, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I think as Ron was saying, with any charity, you face the challenges of how do we...
And do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, some of the things that we're doing, with the NFTs, for example, is where we have first is time-bound memberships through Unlock protocol. So if you have a membership organization, they can expire after a certain amount of time. With the 501c3 wrapper, the membership is a donation, so it's a write-off. So that's a source of recurring revenue for us. Another thing we're doing is sponsoring awareness. So SpiritDAO is the primary sponsor of the white paper I'm going to be launching with the team. And to Mark's point, we host, so SpiritDAO does we share space 3 times a week, optionally, but one of those is an upskilling. So we're actually training members, several of us in SpiritDAO are from the nonprofit sector, and we're training our members how to talk to funders about this type of infrastructure, about running pilot programs, specifically around, let's say, retroactive public goods funding or quadratic funding. And we're actively about to start a campaign where we are seeking out funders, we're kind of sharing the white paper with them, giving them an outline and saying, hey, look, if you need help, we're here to help you. We're a nonprofit, we'd love to serve you in kind of running a pilot. And this gives our members a way to contribute. The structure's TBD in terms of the financials, but the thinking is like 75–80% will go to the participants, 20% will go to the DAO. So the DAO is always kind of taking a piece to fund more future collective projects. And this kind of engages our members not only with our shared vision of public goods and nonprofit work and social impact, but also provides them really legitimate upskilling for people who are within this space. So it provides real tangible value for the nonprofit community itself.
Thank you, Ron. So we so far talked about emerging trends in the NFT industry, case studies for a social impact. And now there is no NFT project without a community. We want to talk about how can we foster NFT engagement in the community and specifically focused on the social good projects. And we have Bunny who wants to share her response.
Individual artists are making such a huge difference around the world. After all, we wouldn't have NFTs, right, if we didn't have the artists first. And the community is such a huge, important thing around NFT artists because, we're basically alone working in our studios or what have you. So community, we come together, we support each other, we celebrate our wins, we are there for our losses. And especially when the war in Ukraine broke out, that was a pivotal moment for me because my NFT painters group came together and did several initiatives where we donated NFTs and 100% of the proceeds went to save the children of Ukraine. Also, my NFT Christian Lounge group, we supported a missionary. We all donated NFTs and supported a missionary so that he could go into a very dangerous area outside of Bangladesh to support small villages to bring them food and give them hope. There's also individual artists are doing amazing things, such as like Polly Raiders. He has his children draw on his iPad. He mints them, and 100% of the proceeds goes to over 1,800 girls in Nigeria for feminine products. Also, Suki Arts, she gives 100% of her proceeds goes to children living in poverty in India. A portion of all my NFTs goes to one of the groups, goes to Kite Pride, which gets women out of sex trafficking and gives them a place to live and a job actually making kites. And also Hands of Care International, which supports women and children with rescue and restoration, bringing them out of poor situations. But what has happened with cryptocurrency? To get funds to these people used to be very difficult. It used to take months to get them funds, if we could get them to at all, especially wiring money, and they wouldn't get the same amount of money. With NFTs, as artists, what we do is we attach their wallet addresses to our NFTs, and that money automatically goes to them, automatically. And so that has been a great thing about NFTs and being able to give, because we all can give that way. But we do have to have education. So many of these organizations do not understand NFTs, and they do not understand cryptocurrency. And we have to educate them so that they know how to be secure, how to have a wallet. And security is a big thing with NFTs, and they need to know that. But we have to be the ones to step in and educate them, because if these organizations know all of this and set these up, artists can do so much more then.
Thank you, Bonnie. Does anyone wants to share anything else in regards to NFT communities and social?
I just want to add on to what Bonnie just said about education. I think, one of the big things about the Giving Block is, at a base level, of course, we're providing technology for our nonprofits to accept crypto donations, but something that we learned pretty early on is that one of the most powerful things we can provide is education and support and resources. Some of our nonprofits are very ahead of the game. They have people who are full-time dedicated to digital fundraising. I mentioned Ettore, I'll shout him out again, from Save the Children. I'm not sure there's much for me to teach him at this point. But a lot of nonprofits do not have the resources or bandwidth to spend a bunch of time reading white papers or learning about security protocols. They have really important work to do. And one of the things that we realized we can provide early on is by making information consumable, by having somebody full-time available to talk to, by walking nonprofits through everything from the basics to working with a major NFT project or a major crypto company. And I think one of the big important things there for NFT community members is realizing that they're not alone. There are resources to share, either through us or through some of our partner companies like Endowment. There are ways to shout out and learn with nonprofits hand in hand.
I just want to add one thing. In the context of social impact, I mentioned Unlock Protocol, so if you're not familiar with that, it's a great membership thing. But the other protocol that SpiritDAO is kind of founded on that I think is really ideal for social impact is HATS. HATSprotocol.xyz. You think of HATS like a key card, so it enables access and agency within the organization. So SpiritDAO groups ourselves into pods. A pod is like a small circular working group that can either be permanent or disband over time. But the specific HATS membership key cards give, like, let's say, for example, access to a certain resource pool of capital or access to certain documents. Maybe you need access to our legal documents in the DAO and not everyone needs access to them. So I think between Unlock and HATS protocol, any nonprofit can start experimenting today. And there's a front-end infrastructure. You don't need to be that technical to do it, which is part of the most exciting part about leveraging NFTs for social impact today is it's easier than it's ever been. And I'll just mention that there's no experts in this space. All of us are kind of pioneers exploring what this looks like. So I think the best thing you can do is just experiment with your own social impact cause and then share it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your opinions. So as our panel comes to an end, I would love our panelists to share one takeaway that you want the audience to remember from our panel today. We'll start with Mark, then Bonnie, then Ron, and Zoe.
Yeah, sure. As been very interesting listening to my fellow co-panelists and really thinking about the journey over the past 3 years. If you do think about this, and Ron was talking a little bit about this, there's a lot of degeneracy within Web3, obviously, and probably all of us have partaken in that a little bit, but when you go and have a look at, the nature of startups is solving problems. And if you have a look at what I guess the groups up here are doing, is we are truly at the cutting edge of solving, real problems. And not just problems, I guess, technology-based problems, but societal problems. I think from a DAO perspective, it's just been a very enjoyable journey when you can, and it actually reminds me a lot of my time in the military, where you can form a like-minded group of individuals, and when you're all in behind a core feel-good story, we've managed to partner with one of the largest insurance companies in the United States, and we're now providing free insurance advocacy work for veterans and first responders, which is, that's great. And I think if you do, I guess not to get too spiritual, but if with these projects here, if we do continue to put out that good energy, and just really what this is about is it's about helping people. Like, we could have come into the space and done a whole bunch of different things. And even 3 years later, where you've absorbed all of this knowledge, you could easily pivot and do something essentially more profitable. But I think, the heart of the projects here and is really about helping people. And I think that is the true power of what NFTs for Impact can do over the next 5-10 years.
Yes, so many times that, people think that I can't do that, but, we all can. As an individual artist, so many are giving back, and let me tell you, artists are the most giving people you have ever met. You've been around here the last few days, you know that artists are the most giving people you have ever met. And it reminds me of the starfish story. And it's where the one guy, he's on the beach and there's hundreds of starfish, and he's picking them up and throwing them back into the ocean. And another man comes by and he says, "What are you doing? You can't make a difference. Look at all of these." And he picks up one starfish and he throws it back into the ocean. And he said, "I made a difference for that one." That's what all of us can do here. And if you need help, I am willing to help anybody in it. brooksgallery.com. I'm Brooks Gallery on Twitter. If you want an NFT, just DM me and I will send you an NFT. But because we can all give back, because artists giving out NFTs and then they give to others and they give to others, they give to others, and that's what we're all about. We're all about making an impact in this world, and we can do that through NFTs.
I think Mark and Bonnie have done a great job. I think ultimately it's about experimentalism. Try your thing. If you have any questions, the other thing I'll say is I have a bunch of materials, so if you want to come see me after, if you want like a blueprint for the infrastructure, everything SpiritDAO has built is public. You could fork it today. So you don't do anything, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've mapped out everything we've done. We've made it public. I have, SpiritDAO has books, so you can see our infrastructure and our maps in real time. We're leveraging communal AI, which is another thing we haven't really talked about, but I think has a really unique intersection with NFTs, especially when you think about like merit and building, reputation over time, inter-community. So just come say hello after the fact. If you want to get on that early access to the white paper, just come hit me up. I'll take your email, happy to send it out. But yeah, just try. I think ultimately, if you're here in this room and you're focused on NFTs for social good, like I want to know you, I want to be a part of you, I want to support you, because that's ultimately, we have a shared vision of bigness we're working towards, and I want to support you in that. So thank you.
I'll start by saying thank you, Yuliia, for hosting. You did a wonderful job. But yeah, I'm going to echo Bonnie. You do not need to be a millionaire to make a difference. You do not need to be the CEO of Microsoft to be a difference. A lot of the most successful fundraising projects we've seen through the Giving Block have been something that was just an idea between a few friends. The most important thing there, I think, is that word friends. You can expand it to community, working with other people, working with us, the Giving Block. We're happy to help you. Working with Brooks Gallery, working with anybody on the stage is how you're going to find success. and it's how you're going to be able to support causes you care about. So reach out to people who have been here before, reach out to people who have good ideas, even if you're only 20% of the way to figuring out what you want to do, that's a start, and you can find people around you who can help fill out that other 80%.
From the operator standpoint, if you're building a company in NFT space, and operations functions is usually overseen in the companies. So they empower your internal operations, and that will lead you to a successful project, and that will help you scale your company. As for the panel, a future of NFT looks bright. We hope that we inspired you with the idea of how you could use NFTs to empower change. We'll host a breakout session after the panel, so come get to know us and ask questions.